The anime starts with Yoshida, a salaryman asking his senpai, Goto, to go out with him. Goto rejects him, as she is dating someone for the past 5 years. Yoshida was in shock. To release his frustration, he drank too much with his friend, Hashimoto. On his way home, he saw a teenage girl sitting under a lamppost. Yoshida asks her what is she doing here at such a late hour. Her name is Sayu. She didn't have any money to book a train or live in any place. She asks him to let her stay in his house. And in return, he can sleep with her. Yoshida was not at all pleased. He didn't expect to hear this from a high school student. But he still let her in his house, as it was cold outside. However, with a promise of letting her stay for that night only. At night, in his sleep, Yoshida was murmuring that he wanted to taste miso soup, which is made by a woman. Sayu hears it. The next day, it's Sunday. Sayu makes miso soup for Yoshida, in hope that he'll not kick her out. But Yoshida didn't melt. So, she again offers herself to Yoshida, in return for letting her stay for more days. Yoshida was angry. He demanded her identity card and asks her, since when she's away? From the ID card, it was revealed that Sayu is from Hokkaido. And it has been 6 months since she left her home. Sayu told him that no one in her family wants her. And that is why she has decided to live alone. Yoshida was in dilemma. He told her to do house chores if she wants to stay. And also if she ever tries to act or say any indecent words, he will kick her out. Sayu happily accepted it. A few days have passed since then. At Yoshida's office, his friend tells him that there is a rumor about him getting a girlfriend. Because lately, he is doing much better work and also wearing proper iron clothes. Yoshida told him about what happened the day he was rejected. Hashimoto asks whether he checks if there is any missing report regarding her. Yoshida confirms that he checked it online, but apparently there was no news related to her. At home, Yoshida notices that Sayu's back is hurting and she always wears her school uniform. So that day he and Sayu went shopping for some clothes and a futon for her. Sayu was very happy. She told him that in the previous home she stayed in, none of them cared for him as Yoshida does. Yoshida was pissed that she considers a lowlife like him nice. In return, he told that he is not nice, it is just that those people were shit. The next day at the office, Yoshida is a bit pissed at his junior, Mishima. Because the code she input is buggy. And the deadline for the project is today. If they didn't complete it, he might be taken out of the project. Because he is in charge of her. So to make sure this will not happen, Mishima promises to stay late and work on it. It's night, and just like she promised, Mishima finally corrected the bug. Yoshida was also there to support her. He bought some food for her. Mishima was very happy. Out of curiosity, she asks about the rumor. Yoshida clarifies that the rumor about him having a girlfriend is false. He told her about the rejection he received from Goto-senpai. Mishima was a bit surprised but happy to know that there is no one in Yoshida-senpai's life. At home, Sayu is angry because Yoshida is late. And the food has gone cold. So, Yoshida apologizes. He told her about the project deadline he had to deal with. Sayu assures him that she was just joking and not actually mad at him. Yoshida notices that Sayu doesn't have a cell phone. Because in case of emergency, he should be able to convey his message. So the next day with his friend he went to the cell phone shop. He was looking very carefully for the right color to suit Sayu's taste. His friend asks whether Yoshida likes Sayu. Yoshida replied that he is not interested in little girls and that he only prefers a woman with big jugs like Goto-senpai. Hashimoto tells Yoshida that he should avoid getting into any relationship with her, as later it might cause legal troubles. Yoshida agrees that he is aware. At the office, Goto-senpai asks Yoshida to go out for a dinner. As she wants to talk to him regarding something important. Yoshida was a bit nervous. At night, while they were having dinner, Yoshida asks the reason she has invited him for dinner. As it is very weird to go out with someone who has rejected you. Goto asks about the girl he's dating. In reply, Yoshida clarifies that there is no one. Goto said that she has known him for 5 years. And during those years she has never seen Yoshida shaving his beard so regularly, every day wearing iron clothes, and even going home as soon as he finishes work. She asks whether he and Mishima are dating. Because she has seen them together a lot lately. Yoshida clarifies that there is no such thing going on between them. Goto said, "Oh, is that so? Then it's fine." Yoshida then asks, "Was this the only thing you wanted to ask me?" Got replied, "Yes." Yoshida was a bit confused. At home, he again apologizes for being late and gave her the cell phone he had bought. Sayu was very happy. The next day at the office, Mishima asks Yoshida to watch a movie with her. Yoshida was a bit hesitant, but before he gives his response, Mishima quickly books 2 tickets. At home, Sayu receives a message from Yoshida about him watching a movie with his colleague. Sayu started wondering whether this colleague is a girl. And if Yoshida started dating someone, then she would have to find another place to live. She was so worried that she went out to see for herself. Mishima and Yoshida are coming out of the theater. Sayu, who has just reached there, saw Mishima hugging Yoshida. She was shocked. She quickly ran away. Yoshida was also surprised and a bit uncomfortable. So, he pushed Mishima back. When Yoshida reaches home, he found that Sayu is not there. He was panicking and went out to look for her. Sayu was sitting on a bench in the park. There she met Mishima. They both shares about a certain person they were thinking about. Yoshida arrives at the park. Mishima and Sayu were both surprised to know that the person they were talking about was Yoshida. Mishima tells Yoshida that he owes her an explanation about her. At home, Yoshida asks Sayu why did she leave. Sayu explains that she was a bit insecure, as she fears that Yoshida will kick him. Because since she has arrived she hasn't done anything useful for him. And if he started dating someone, then she would have to leave. Yoshida assures her that she doesn't need to worry. He tells Sayu how his life has completely changed after her arrival. Earlier when he come home he was always thinking about work and other household chores. But now when he comes, because of her the home has become more pleasant. Sayu was very emotional after hearing this. And hugs Yoshida. The next day at night, Sayu asks Yoshida on working part-time in the nearest convenience store. Yoshida without any second thought agrees. He says it is good as it will help her have some fresh air and would also be able to make some friends there. The next day Sayu went to the convenience store for work. There she met her senior worker, Asami. They both are of the same age. Quickly they started bonding. Asami asks Sayu a few questions regarding where she lives. She got to know that they both live very close to each other, so Asami tells her that today she will come to her house. Sayu was a bit reluctant and tells her that she lives with someone. In a suspicious tone, Asami asks, "Who is it?" "He is like a brother. He takes care of me," Sayu responded. Asami was a bit excited. She asks, "A brother like means you are not related. And now I need to see who this guy is." Sayu messages Yoshida about Asami. Yoshida, who is at his office, was surprised. Mishima quickly peeks at Yoshida's cell phone. And asks, "What are you two talking about?" Yoshida was a bit pissed and told Mishima to mind her own business. Goto-senpai, who is a bit far, could see that Mishima and Goto are talking. The night before entering his home, Yoshida takes a deep breath. Inside the house, Asami asks a few questions regarding their relationship. In reply, Yoshida said that he was Sayu's babysitter. And now when she needs a bit of help, he is just helping her in settling. Asami was not satisfied with the answer. Later they ate the food Sayu made. After they ate, Asami asks Yoshida to accompany her to her house. Yoshida agrees. When Sayu asks whether she should also come. In response, Asami said that it is a man's job to escort a pretty girl. On the way, Asami said that she knows Yoshida is lying about Sayu and his relationship. She demanded the truth. In response, Yoshida said, "I'm not in any position to tell you something. If Sayu wants to hide it from you, then you should not force her." Asami was impressed. And said that he really acts as Sayu's big brother. The next day at the office, as Yoshida completes his work, Goto-senpai approaches him. She asks him to have dinner with her. At the restaurant, Yoshida asks the reason. Goto-senpai replied, "Why did you lie, that you and Mishima are not dating?" Yoshida was a little bit frustrated this time. He said, "You invited me to ask this again?" He added, "In the first place, why do you even care about who I got out with? Give me a reason or else I will not answer you." Goto-senpai hesitantly says that she likes Yoshida a lot. For a very long time, she has liked him. Yoshida was surprised. He said, "But, didn't you say you are dating someone for 5 years?" Goto-senpai replies that it was a lie. He couldn't believe what was happening. Yoshida said that he does not trust her. Goto-senpai then asks what could she do to convince him. Yoshida then in a low voice asks Goto-senpai to sleep with him. Goto-senpai blushingly asks, "Is it okay if it's my first time?" Yoshida almost choked on the beer he was drinking. He quickly apologizes to her. And said that he was just joking. He told Goto-senpai that he has already proposed to her, and now it's her time to propose to him. And when she thinks it is the right time, she should ask him then. Goto-senpai happily agrees. After she answered Yoshida's question, Goto-senpai asks him about the girl he was messaging in the office. Yoshida tells her about Sayu. At home, Sayu receives a message from Yoshida. He texted her that Goto-senpai will be coming home to meet her. Sayu was a bit surprised. After an hour, Yoshida and Goto-senpai arrives. Sayu was nervous to meet Goto-senpai. Goto knew Sayu is a bit nervous. So, to light up the mood, she teases Yoshida by saying, "Sayu, I hope Yoshida didn't do any indecent things with you." Sayu, now a bit relaxed, replies that surprisingly he didn't. While Yoshida was in the toilet, Goto-senpai tells Sayu to send Yoshida away for a bit, because she wants to privately talk to her. Sayu without any hesitation agrees. After Yoshida came back from the toilet, she told him to bring some eggs, chives, and miso. Yoshida agrees, but before he leaves he asks Sayu if she will be okay with being alone with her. Sayu responded yes. After Yoshida leaves, Goto-senpai asks Sayu about her age, when did she leave, and where is her home. Up until this point Sayu was comfortable. But, when Goto-senpai asks the reason she left her home, Sayu got nervous and replies that she can't tell her that. Goto-senpai respected it and didn't force her. Then Goto-senpai asks Sayu when will she leave. As a friend of Yoshida and as a stranger to Sayu, Goto-senpai is worried for Yoshida. She tells Sayu, "You know that keeping an unknown high school student at home could lead him to jail?" Sayu replies that she understands and just needs a little more time. Goto-senpai was glad that Sayu is aware of her position. She asks, "Before Yoshida, where were you living?" Sayu, a bit hesitant, tells that before Yoshida she used to offer her body to strangers in exchange for a place to live. And when they realized that they could get into legal trouble, they kicked me out of their house. Goto-senpai was shocked and sad to know that. Thinking how a high school girl ended up like this. She hugged Sayu and comforted her. Both of them were emotional. When Yoshida came back, he accompanied Goto-senpai on her way home. She told Yoshida that Sayu is an unstable girl, she doesn't know herself and it will be difficult if her emotions burst out. So she advises him to be sure to take care of her. Yoshida agrees. He said that's the whole plan. Not until I see Sayu is finally ready. I will not force her to leave. The next day, Sayu went to her job. She has an unexpected encounter with Yaguchi. Yaguchi was one of the people with whom Sayu slept, in exchange for a place. She is tormented to see Yaguchi being one of the workers in the store. Yaguchi immediately recognizes Sayu and greets her. He told her after she left, he was hoping to meet her again. Sayu was too scared to speak anything. Asami enters the room and told Yaguchi to not waste any time and get to work. After work, Sayu was on her way home but encounters Yaguchi again. Even though he had left earlier, he was waiting for her. Sayu didn't want to have any conversation. So she tries to leave. However, Yaguchi grabs Sayu's hand and tells her to go to the house she is currently living. Sayu told him that she cannot do that and told him to leave her alone. He told her that if she didn't go, he'll tell her deeds to the manager and Asami. Sayu was terrified. Yaguchi tells her that he just wants to talk, nothing else. Sayu asks, "Really, you only want to talk, right?" Yaguchi tells her that seeing her after so long he got excited and that is why he wants to chat for a little bit. Sayu agrees and takes him to Yoshida's apartment. There, after chatting for a bit, he asks Sayu to sleep with him. But Sayu refused. Yaguchi started forcing her. Sayu is terrified. Realizing that she let someone like him inside the house, she gives up. But in the nick of a time, Yoshida enters. Seeing what Yoshida was doing, he kicks him out and tells him to get lost. Before he leaves, Yaguchi tells Yoshida that he is lame. A high school girl is in his home, willing to sleep with him but he wants to make her do chores. Yoshida was devastated. Thinking these people who could have saved Sayu way earlier than him, only used her to satisfy their lust. He gets inside the apartment and hugs Sayu, saying that he is sorry for not being able to come earlier. The next day at the store, Asami talked to Sayu about whether yesterday something happened between her and Yaguchi. Sayu was surprised and asked her the reason she thinks that. Yesterday, after Sayu left, she saw her with Yaguchi. With a smile, Sayu replied that nothing happened. Asami notices Sayu's fake smile. She immediately realizes something is wrong. She went up to Yaguchi and asked him. Yaguchi, without any remorse, told her that he went with Sayu to her apartment and asked her to sleep with him. But when she rejected him, he forced her a little bit. Asami got pissed and slapped him. She told him to apologize to Sayu. Yaguchi apologizes and told her that he is only sorry for forcing but not for asking. Sayu asks him why he didn't tell Asami that they have already slept with each other. Because he has promised to not tell anyone if she let him come to her house. Sayu started laughing because after what he did, it was very weird of him. Sayu was not mad as before but still was not willing to forgive him. Sayu receives a message from Yoshida that he will be late. So, after work, Sayu and Asami spent some time with each other. Lately, a car has been stopping by the store. However, they do not purchase anything. Sayu is a bit worried after Asami tells her. At the office, seeing Goto senpai and Yoshida being close, Mishima is a bit pissed. With courage, when Goto senpai was alone, she invites her to lunch. Goto senpai agrees. During lunch, Mishima asks Goto senpai whether she likes Yoshida senpai or not. Goto senpai does like him but is just waiting for Yoshida to realize what kind of relationship he wants to have with Sayu. Goto senpai does not want to force anything on Yoshida and is patient with the outcome. Mishima, unsatisfied with the response, lashes out at Goto senpai because she can't see the person she loves with another girl who doesn't even determine to have him. So in the evening she approaches Yoshida and asks him to watch a movie with her. Yoshida refuses because today he promised to eat with Sayu. Mishima is frustrated because Yoshida hasn't noticed her love for him. So she just confessed to him. Yoshida didn't react much, just smiles as she leaves. The next day in the morning, Yoshida and Sayu are cleaning the house. She finds a photo album of Yoshida during his school days. Seeing a photo of Yoshida with his senpai, Sayu teases Yoshida about his having a preference for only older women. Yoshida shares that during his relationship with her, she got frustrated and dumped him. Because Yoshida was too clingy. She doesn't want a person in her life who is so needy. At the convenience store, the car from earlier again arrives. But this time a guy in a black suit comes out. Seeing him, Sayu got nervous. Noticing that Sayu wants to avoid that person, Yaguchi covers her. And when asked about Sayu, he told the guy that no person with that name works here. Later Sayu shares that the person is her brother. After seeing that her brother is looking for her, Sayu is worried. Because Sayu wants to go back but only when she is comfortable, not like this. Sayu receives a message from Yoshida about purchasing some items for the home. After her shopping, Sayu was about to leave but has an encounter with Mishima. Sayu hides behind her when she notices her brother is near. So they went to karaoke and there she told everything to Mishima. Yoshida receives a message from Sayu about her being with Mishima. After a few minutes, Yoshida arrives and they both went home. Mishima is jealous and emotional to notice the way Yoshida sees Sayu. Even though Mishima's love for him is real, Yoshida doesn't see her like that. On their way home, Sayu notices a pamphlet regarding a summer festival. As she has never seen being to these, Yoshida takes her there. On the festival day, seeing Sayu's bare neck made Yoshida a little blush. There they ate cotton candy and enjoyed the fireworks. Since it was Sayu's first time, she was mesmerized to witness the beauty of fireworks. Yoshida is in a panic when he notices Sayu is not next to him, so he started calling her name. Sayu is behind her and told him that she only went to throw some trash. To see Yoshida in panic, Sayu teases him by asking whether he wants her to not go back to her home. Yoshida with a smile said that she should go. The next morning, the doorbell rings. Thinking it might be a courier, Yoshida went and opened it. The person introduces himself as Issa Ogiwara, Sayu's brother, and he is here to take Sayu back. Both Yoshida and Sayu are in shock. Issa tells about their mother being worried for Sayu. And she has asked Issa to bring her back. As the conversation goes on, Issa is relieved to see Sayu was taken in by Yoshida. Because he could see how much he cares for her. Sayu and Issa have a private talk. Issa, after Sayu's request, gives her a week to make the decision. After Asami comes to Yoshida's home, Sayu tells them the reason she left her home. Because she believes that they deserve to know. Sayu never had a good relationship with her mother. This is why even during school, she doesn't put any effort into her studies. And used to stay alone. But one day on the rooftop, Yuko, Sayu's classmate, approaches her and asks whether they could be friends. Because they both used to stay alone than the rest, they started to develop a bond. However, Yuko started getting bullied because one of the girls likes the basketball guy whom Sayu rejected. But they can't bully Sayu because she is pretty and cool. Whereas Yuko is less pretty and gloomy, and a much easier target. Sayu was sad and devastated. Because of her, Yuko, who is her first friend, is getting bullied. She tells Yuko how much she loves her. However, Yuko's bullying doesn't stop. Sayu told her that they would fight together. But Yuko was at her limit. She couldn't take any more. She believes, because of her, Sayu has not been laughing lately. An ugly girl likes her ruined her charm. Just before she jumps off the roof, she tells Sayu to bring her smile back because she looks cooler that way. And she jumps. Soon people from the media started gathering in front of Sayu's house and want to ask questions regarding the incident. Being fed up with them, Sayu's mother asks Sayu whether she is not the one who killed Yuko, because why would they trouble them if it was a suicide? Sayu was devastated. She couldn't believe a mother could say something. Realizing her mother doesn't care for her feelings, she left the home. Issa, after knowing what happened between their mother and Sayu, respected Sayu's decision. He gave her some money to live on and a cell phone for an emergency. However, soon the money ran out and the cell phone died. With no place to go, a man took her to his house. Believing he is doing it in a good faith, Sayu happily went. But as soon as the days passes, the guy wanted to sleep with her. And with no place to go, she gave up. And that's how she started living until she met Yoshida. Everyone was emotional and couldn't believe a little girl like her has gone through this stuff. Yoshida tells his colleagues about Sayu going back to her home. They are a bit surprised because it is too sudden, but they too believe it is good for her. At night, while going back home, Yoshida meets Issa on the way. Issa shows his gratitude towards Yoshida for taking care of his sister. Yoshida tells him to lift his head. Issa tells Yoshida the reason their mother doesn't love Sayu. Their father, who was also the president of Ogiwara Foods, was an unfaithful man. By the time their mother was pregnant with Sayu, he was already making out with another woman. And told their mother to abort the child. But she believed by bringing Sayu into this life, her husband would not leave. However, he still left. And from then their mother sees Sayu as the reason her husband left her. Yoshida is sad to hear it. Issa tells that after not being able to receive love from her parents, Sayu now sees Yoshida as a parent figure. Before leaving, Issa thanks Yoshida again for taking care of Sayu. Back at home, Sayu gave Yoshida a recipe book that she has made. After she will leave, it will help him make healthy food and will prevent him from eating frozen meals. Yoshida is amazed to receive it. And thanks her. Sayu and Yoshida went to a place where she and Asami went earlier. Yoshida hasn't ever seen this view, he is flabbergasted. Sayu tells that when he is not at home, she often thinks of leaving because she doesn't want to go in Yoshida's presence. But still can't go. She has become too attached to him. But understands that she needs to face her problems and go back to her home. This way she can also prove to everyone that meeting Yoshida was one of the best things that happened to her. They both get emotional. The next day at the office, since Sayu is going tomorrow, Hashimoto could see how worried Yoshida is. Mishima suggests going to Hokkaido with Sayu. However, Yoshida refuses because he has a job. Mishima insists, just because of one person the company won't go bankrupt. Yoshida doesn't want to intervene. And let Sayu handle her problem herself. While working, Yoshida receives a call from Asami. She tells Yoshida about Sayu going missing. Yoshida is worried because Sayu's phone is also inactive. He is a bit hesitant to look for Sayu because Yoshida thinks she has gone home. However, Hashimoto asks Goto-senpai to allow them to take a leave. She allows them. Yoshida and Hashimoto went to look out for Sayu. On the way, looking at Yoshida's expression, Hashimoto is pissed. He tells Yoshida, if you care so much for her, why don't you go to Hokkaido? Make sure until the end she is fine. Before Yoshida answers, he receives a call from Goto-senpai. And got to know, Sayu is with her in front of his apartment. Sayu wanted to go home together with Yoshida. And as a surprise, she came to the office. However, because her phone's battery died, she was unable to answer Yoshida. Goto and Asami tease Yoshida for his look when he got to know that Sayu is missing. Before Asami and Goto senpai leave, Sayu thanks them for their help. Back at home, since it's Sayu's last time, she wants to lie down next to Yoshida. Yoshida is a bit surprised but allows her. Sayu tells Yoshida, "If you would have been my father, maybe I would have been raised well." Yoshida replied that he is just a stranger who happens to meet her. He turns his face toward Sayu. And as a last service, he tells Sayu that he will come with her to Hokkaido, so that she doesn't feel scared facing her mother. Sayu is very happy and tightly hugs Yoshida. The next day, before Sayu prepares to leave, Asami bid her last farewell. On the plane, Issa is a bit surprised for Yoshida to come along, but thanks him for his help. After they land, they get inside a car and go toward Sapporo. Yoshida is surprised because they don't live there. Issa's company is there and he has some work to do. While he is at his office, he tells Sayu and Yoshida to spend some time together for the last time. At the cafe, Sayu tells Yoshida, during high school, she wasn't allowed to go on vacations and spend time with her friends in a cafe like normal students. Yoshida is sad to hear it. After drinking coffee, they get in the car with Issa. Sayu tells her brother to drop them at her school. There is something Sayu wants Yoshida to see. Yoshida is a bit worried because they are trespassing. However, Sayu assures him that at this time in the countryside usually no one is up. While walking up the stairs, Sayu holds Yoshida's arm and goes to the rooftop. However, the door is locked. So she goes through the window. She is trembling and tells Yoshida to quickly come over here. Sayu starts to get flashbacks and is terrified to think of Yuko. She blames herself for Yuko's death. If she had not been her friend, she would still be alive. Yoshida comforts Sayu and tells her that it was Yuko who decided to befriend you, because she admired you. There is no point in crying and blaming yourself. From now on, live for yourself and her. That way you can help her. After crying for a bit, looking at the sky, Sayu promises to bring her smile back just as Yuko wanted. Coming to this school was a really necessary step for Sayu to overcome her fear. After this, they went back to her home. Sayu is nervous to return home after 6 months. When she enters, she is greeted with a slap from her mother. Yoshida is shocked. She is angry at Sayu because all the rumors after she left were making it difficult for her family to live. Issa stops her mother and tells her about Yoshida, who is taking care of Sayu. She stares at Yoshida and went inside. They all sit in the dining. After all the things Sayu has done to humiliate the family, Sayu's mother is disgusted. And to stay with someone who is a complete stranger. Looking at Yoshida, their mother asks whether he knows what he did as a criminal activity. Yoshida tells her that she is right. She added, who knows what else he has done to Sayu. Sayu gets angry and tells her mother to not say anything bad about Yoshida, because he thinks of her as a family more than her. Sayu's mother gets angry and tells Sayu that it would have been great if she hadn't given birth to her. Sayu was devastated after hearing this. Yoshida tells Sayu's mother that just like a parent can't choose their child, a child also can't choose their parents. However, it's a parent's duty to protect their child until they are mature enough. And if you want to throw Sayu aside, I am ready to take care of her for the rest of my life. But that is not the right answer. Yoshida gets on his knees and requests to take care of Sayu until she is mature enough to help herself. Because it is only you who have the responsibility and authority to help Sayu. Sayu's mother is shocked and wonders why would a stranger go to this extent. Issa also gets on his knees and begs her mother. Sayu's mother starts crying and shouts at them to get out. Outside, Yoshida is crying. He never knew Sayu's mother this much hated Sayu. He is devastated to hear a mother say that she never wanted to birth her child. Both of them are emotional and stare at the night sky. Issa came and tells them that their mother has agreed to not complain until Sayu completes high school. Issa shows his gratitude towards Yoshida for going to the extent to kneel in front of their mother. Even as a brother he never did that. Yoshida's gesture was so natural that it somehow made their mother feel frustrated about how a stranger can go to this extent. Because it is so late, Issa insists Yoshida to spend the night here. Yoshida agrees and requests Issa that he want to speak to their mother. Issa agrees. Yoshida apologizes for his rude behavior. Sayu's mom tells Yoshida to go back to his home tomorrow. And as for Sayu's future, she'll talk face to face with her. After Yoshida, it is Sayu who wants to talk to her. Sayu apologizes for causing trouble. Sayu's mother still can't understand since when everything went downhill. But after Yoshida made her realize that she is the only parent. She is willing to let Sayu complete high school, and after that Sayu can decide whatever she wants to do. At night, since it is the last time, Sayu sneaks in and get on the bed with Yoshida. She hugs him and thanks him for the last time. The next morning, at the airport, Issa talks privately with Yoshida before he leaves. He thanks him for taking care of Sayu, and because of him, Sayu was able to move on. Before Yoshida leaves, Sayu gets emotional and tells him that she likes him and she'll come for him. Yoshida with a smile bids her goodbye. Yoshida comes back to his apartment. However, the emptiness starts to make him emotional. He scolds himself for crying. After months, at the office, Goto-senpai plans to go to the dinner with Mishima and Hashimoto but told Yoshida he can't come because of work. Yoshida is surprised but understands his situation. At night on the way home, while Yoshida is walking, he is stunned. Under the same lamppost, it is Sayu in her high school dress. He went to her and gets emotional. They recreate the scenario. And tells her that it is dangerous for a high school student to stay this late. Sayu explains that she is far from her home and doesn't have anywhere to go. Teasingly she asks, "Can you let me stay in your house?" Consider liking and subscribing this channel if you enjoyed the recap. Have a wonderful day ahead.